Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
I'm a little disappointed. It cost me $100 today. But every time we have a guest on and they tell Chuck that he asked a great question, and they don't say that to me, it's another $100 that Chuck's getting out of my pocket.
Can you ask me what my name is?
Coach, what's your name?
What a great question.
Hey,
Even Steven.
hey, we're rigging this thing now. It's rigged now.
Nobody's ever asked me that. It's Samuel Don Pittman. Man, what a great question. Nobody's ever said that thought.
Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "Let's turn on the Chuck and Bo
There we
show."
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo
Strange
Madden.
weekend without a Razorback game to watch. I mean, it's like, I guess, the first weekend since August where we didn't have either a football or a basketball game to watch, and it's kind of weird Saturday and Sunday, and then the weather got bad yesterday, and just I'm actually glad to be back in here today.
Well, yeah. I mean,
A little sense of normalcy.
Had Easter Sunday.
I know, yeah.
It was a big week. A lot of people getting, dressed up, going to church, going to brunch. A lot of families getting
Did you
together.
have a new outfit? Did you have a new
I did
outfit
not.
to put
I
on?
didn't do it this
did you
year.
Not?
I did see people who did, though.
Oh, I know.
And it made me think I should invest in one of those Easter sports jackets and just wear it every Easter, because it's the only time, with rare exception, that you
Right.
would wear it otherwise.
Well, I went with clothes that I had previously purchased.
Same.
Not specifically for Easter.
I did a color mix that I otherwise
Did you
maybe
really?
wouldn't
Like a
have
spring
done.
mix?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like blue
Yellow.
pants,
Got some yellow
like
in there?
a purple, light purple shirt and a green, like light green quarter zip. I looked
yeah.
like an Easter
Miami
egg.
Vice.
I looked like an Easter egg.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
I was being hunted.
Yeah. And
People, you go to a restaurant, people have eggs around, like
know.
with sweet tarts in there.
people open gifts. They have
Smarties.
little Easter baskets and things like that.
They got it just sitting around like, the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
That was going on. And then out of nowhere, it comes like a little storm in Fayetteville. That was a mini
it was like a
tornado.
big storm for a little while.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I know there's some people in the northwest part of town that have some pretty serious damage. You always got to wait a day or two before they say, yeah, that was officially a tornado.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it really doesn't matter if it was officially a tornado or not. What matters is your roof's torn off.
That's right.
And so I know a lot of the people are dealing with that.
It doesn't
stuff
have to
today.
be a tornado to have damage either. I mean, we've had we've had an unusually, it gets windy here in the spring.
It does.
But in the northwest Arkansas area, we've had an unusually, and maybe other parts of the state, unusually windy, it feels like.
Well, it is.
Spring.
I mean, you have to clean up limbs out of your yard and the whole
I've
deal.
never-
I've done that twice.
Never been happier not to have a hairpiece. That would have been, that just wreaks havoc on.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You're just walking. I mean, somebody can probably relate to this. You're just walking down the, get out of the
Boom,
car.
it's
you're
gone.
Walking across the parking lot, and your whole day changes.
You got to
Your
use some
hair-
extra paste.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to get that thing stuck on there.
Yeah. What is that tape? What is that tape?
I don't know.
M3
I have
tape
never
or
done
whatever?
that. I
Yeah.
have never done that. I've
Yeah.
never been tempted to do that, although I know
We should
people
do
who
that. We should do that at some point on the show. At some point, we should just, you and I should open the show one day to the millions watching around the world. Maybe we'll have Michael Buffer introduce us, and the camera will come on, and we'll have a full head of hair.
Have you ever thought about doing that?
No, not really.
I never have.
I it's not even in my.
I've never considered it for a day.
Not even.
Now,
Now, other than it would be funny, like, but I don't even. I think I would be frightened of myself.
There are levels. You can tell someone's, you can tell how much money they got, frankly, by the kind of toupee they wear. Because some of them are, really good. And then some of them are like, picked it up yesterday
Yeah,
at the store.
That would be the fear, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can't, we couldn't do that here because we've been around too long.
Right.
People know, what we look like. We're bald. But if you started a new life Like if you
No,
started
if you went
a new
somewhere
life
else.
in Italy, like
Yeah.
Chuck moves to Italy.
Yeah, that would be
and
a
you
story.
get a hairpiece. My fear would be like, are people looking at me knowing this is a really bad hairpiece?
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
They are. The answer to your question is
or
yes.
does this look real?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the answer to
Like if
your
you're gonna
question.
do it, you don't want to do it and look like it was a shoddy job.
But I think you could spend a fortune, and everyone would still know what was going on. I mean, that's just
there are people that have an eye for that.
Yeah. See, and I'm going to give you an example. There's a bald guy. I feel like I have an eye for that. It was 20 years ago on Sports Wrap. I pegged Bill Self as wearing a rug. And everyone said, no, not Bill Self.
Are you serious?
As it's come out in latter years. Yeah, Bill Self wears a piece.
No.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I like Bill Self. I'm not knocking him. He looks good on him.
Yeah.
He's worn a piece forever.
I didn't know that.
I hope I don't get sued for slander.
What?
I
don't think it's slander.
I heard him talking about it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hey, look,
There's a certain line. There's a line.
it's honestly
that you can tell.
a lot of this stuff comes down to what you're comfortable with.
That's right.
Right? Like it's
That's
whatever. I mean, at that point, hopefully it doesn't matter too much what anybody else thinks to you. It's what you're comfortable with.
That's right.
But by the way, I heard from a lot of people over the weekend that they didn't understand why the spring game was canceled. And then here you have this other weather thing that happened on Sunday, this event that left people with damage and all this. And I'm reminded again, remember how Bart told us the other day, like it was guaranteed to like just rain all weekend. Saturday, same thing with the baseball game.
Yeah,
Turns out they probably could have played a game on Saturday.
They could have kept the schedule as it was originally
Could
written.
have kept the football game. But here's the thing.
Well, I don't know how much water. I mean, it rained hard overnight, Friday night, and I don't know how much water the football field took on. And you don't always know the condition of the sod, for example. Right. And I know those things sound, like perhaps items you shouldn't consider, but my point is you don't want to get anybody hurt. Right. Now, here's what I feel bad about, and I talked to some of these people, people that came, and sometimes –
Oh, they came up for the weekend to go to the game.
Sometimes we forget that not everybody's in Northwest Arkansas, and I do think there were some people that made the trip that came away disappointed. But I don't know that it was until Saturday morning that they were able to really realize how much water everything had taken on. And no, it was not raining at 1 o'clock, but it had rained for about 6 hours, I guess. Pretty steadily prior to that, or at least a good period.
That was storming pretty hard on Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was. And I can tell you woke me up a good bit on Friday night. So I know it was going on. I can't tell you the exact hours, but I know that the field took on a lot of water. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Well, it's also hard, I think, for everybody to plan. Because you got to use a forecast to help plan.
It's impossible in the spring.
How do you get everyone on the same page? Like at some point you got to make a call based on the forecast,
right?
And then the forecast might not work out like you thought it was going to, but you got to make a call. I mean, it's on the spring game. I kind of felt like maybe people were once it stormed that morning, maybe people had checked out. Like nobody's
that's right.
There are some people
right.
that would be there, but most people aren't coming.
Well,
like at that point, they've just checked out, made their own call.
At some point, and I mean, I hate to say it like this, but at some point, it's like, hey, figure it out. I mean, there's a pretty good chance this is not going to happen, and I'm not going to be critical of anyone for what they do in terms of changing game times in the spring in the South, because it's about as unpredictable as it gets. And the league is mandated in baseball that get those 3 games in. Get them in. We'll even let you start at 10 o'clock at night, but you get them in. And I get that to an extent. And I've not done the math on this. I've not done a deep dive into it. But there are a lot of doubleheaders. And it is hard to sweep. It's hard to sweep an average team in a doubleheader. It's almost impossible to sweep a doubleheader from a good team. Most of the time in the big leagues, doubleheaders turn into sweeps. And when you have good teams in college baseball, or splits, I'm sorry, not sweeps, splits. Most big league doubleheaders are splits. And in college baseball, when you have good teams playing against one another, most of those doubleheaders are splits. And as it turns out, it was the Thursday game that basically was the rubber match. And that's the thing, after that series, the thing that I wondered about, and I won't say worried, but I sure wondered about after Thursday night was that the game that decides it? Because I don't know that anybody sweeps a doubleheader tomorrow. So
yeah,
that's the tough part. But again, it's spring in the South. It was not the only doubleheader that was played on Friday. What was odd was in the SEC, you had series end on Friday, you had series end on Saturday, and you had series end yesterday. And fortunately for Arkansas, they didn't take as big a hit in the standings as I think some feared they might. Now, Texas had a good weekend. Texas is rolling right now. LSU had a good weekend, but Tennessee lost 2 of 3 to Kentucky. So there was there's still an opportunity to do well, but it's going to be a wild ride the last month or so.
Well, early in the SEC schedule here, it looked like Arkansas was a dominant team, and we talked about how good the rest of the league is. And I don't know if there's a dominant team in this league. I think there are hot teams right now, and I'll just say it: you can't plan it. You don't want to plan it. You don't want it to happen. But for me, I'm looking at Arkansas and going, "This is perfect. This is perfect." It's like when they lost in the SEC tournament. Perfect. Get out of there. Come home, get ready to play in the NCAA tournament. Let's see what kind of run you can go on. Sweet 16 or better. And that's what happened. And A&M's hot, maybe the hottest team in college baseball right now. And that doesn't absolve Arkansas from any mistakes they're making or things, at bats or approaches at the plate or not getting enough innings out of a pitcher, all of those things. But we've just seen it too many times. You cannot stay hot the entire season. And you need to go through a period where it doesn't go well, and you hope that everything begins to click down the stretch. Now, the problem is they're playing really good teams. Really good. I mean, is there a break? Is there a weekend that's not a really good team the rest of the way?
Well, Florida is getting well. Florida had a decent weekend. It was pointed out to me over the weekend, and I hadn't really thought about it, but it's true. Texas has not hit their slump yet. Texas has separated itself a little bit right now from the rest of the league. But Arkansas, I guess it was in one of those Cops years. They didn't hit a slump until they got to the postseason. And then, poof, it was over. Sometimes
they also played a really hot team.
You're right. But my point is they didn't have any point in the regular season where they scuffled. Tennessee had a year there where they didn't scuffle. And then Notre Dame beats them, in a super regional.
They were the number 1 overall seed that year,
That's exactly right. But they never slumped. They never went through a period where they were scuffling along. And then they got to the postseason, and bang, it was over. That's happened to us. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think what's going on right now is good, because I think that there's some pitching things that are going to have to come together if they're going to become one of those hot teams at the end of the year. And the bats, they've been consistent. I think they're just kind of going through a hitting slump right now, and I think they'll come back.
Timely.
Well, when the weather gets warm, the teams that can hit generally really hit. And we're coming up into that period. And I expect their run totals to go back up to where they were. I expect them to have a hot streak again. But I do think there's something to, the ebb and the flow of the season and where you are. And watch for Texas. Texas right now is playing really well. And, if you were going to pick a team today that's going to win the regular season, they'd probably be the one most people would pick. But that doesn't mean they're going to be in Omaha. Doesn't mean anybody's going to be in Omaha. But I think there's something to that.
Yeah. It was not the weekend Arkansas hoped
No,
for.
it wasn't.
And so next weekend it's a road trip.
At Florida.
Florida.
And then,
is that a Thursday, Friday?
No, it's
Saturday?
a Friday,
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And then the following weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, hosting Texas here in Fayetteville.
Oh, That's when Texas is going to begin to hit their slump.
Well, that'd be a
Right
good
there.
time. How about
How
that?
about that?
That
How
would be a
about
good
how about
time.
we just predict a sweep right now?
Okay.
2
You go
weeks. Let's
ahead.
get ahead of ourselves. Why not?
You go ahead.
Hey, it's Monday after Easter. Let's get ahead of ourselves. Who wants to do that? I'm in. I'll be right. I'll take the lead on that. 877-377-6963. Hope you had a good Easter weekend. It's 6:17. We're just getting started. Good morning, the Chuck and Bo Show. You went into the Hall of Fame. I think it was at a Western Sizzler.
I think it was. It was at a motel. It wasn't a hotel. It was a motel.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
Why don't you just kind of style it up a little bit at the game? Let's get your drip going.
Hey, I got a lot more drip than you think.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I go a little bit deeper than most people. I mean, I wanted to know.
There is depth is a word that comes to mind to describe you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right.
What if we just make up what happened in the spring game? You want to create a narrative? We just throw some stats.
You mean you weren't
out.
there?
We'll go to the We'll go to the situation room and Bart can give us just stats from the game on Saturday.
We're gonna make them up.
Omega Blake had a huge day. 3 touchdowns, 200 yards receiving.
Iamaleava.
Madden came in. He
practiced
played.
I practiced that all week. Yeah. I was so ready for Iamaleava. I was
so
ready
for Iamaleava.
I was so ready to say
and then
it.
The only news that happened with Iamaleava is he got a $5 NIL deal to go to UCLA.
Yeah, it's more than
I went $4 million. I'll take $5.
Oh, who could have seen this coming? I mean, this whole deal was designed because that's where he wanted to go.
What a disaster! This whole
I can't get over the fact.
I think they just screwed it up. I just plain and simple. I think they just screwed it up. I don't think they expected Tennessee to do what they did, and I think that they overplayed their hand and overestimated the market, and that's not the first time that's ever happened. I mean, you know. And that was just like, wow, really?
Can we get back to me practicing Iamaleava for the week? Because
yes,
we're probably
please let's get back to that.
We're probably not going to say that name for another month or so.
It's kind of like anything else. You got to maintain. So daily, you need to have.
I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, Iamaleava.
I really was proud of myself.
Which segment on
the
show.
by the way, what's become clear, and we had a bit there, for a week where I couldn't say it right, and then turns out like the way I was going to say it anyhow wasn't right because you went down there, in the football building and you got the correct pronunciation.
Straight to the source.
But all kinds of people are saying it with all kinds of confidence, and it's wrong.
I know.
The way they're saying it now. And they're like, have you mastered the name yet? Oh, you haven't. And then you want to look at them and go, you have mastered the name, but it's the wrong one. Yeah. It's incorrect. It's Iamaleava.
Sometimes
everybody's got this thing at the end. It's not there. Iamaleava. Right.
And I fell victim to that when his brother played for Tennessee. I will admit I did.
I was a victim.
I was a victim.
I fell victim to it. That name.
I was fleeced.
That name turned me into a victim.
That's right. I was victimized.
It's so true. It's got to be somebody else's fault.
That's right.
It's like that's the world we live in. I love it. Somebody told me the wrong name. I didn't say it. I was saying it just like they taught me. That's how it goes. But anyhow, that name's it's not worth as much as it was at Tennessee.
I don't know what he got there. I have the hard time believing he's taking a big pay cut. He didn't get $4 million. But I have a hard time believing he's not.
I don't know if he's making as much as he was at Tennessee. Look, let's start with this. The guy was going to make $10 million at Tennessee if he played 4 years. He was going to make $10 million. He had a record, basically, earth-shattering, revolutionary, one-of-a-kind deal coming out of high school. And at some point, it was like, that's not good enough. And you're like, what do you mean? By the way, did you see what I think it was because of what happened with Carson Beck and some of these other guys that got a crazy amount of money. Here's Lane Kiffin. Apparently, Carson Beck got like $4 million to go to Miami. And here's Lane Kiffin talking about it.
Down in Miami, what's Carson Beck? 4.3 is the valuation. Million. He's a college kid. So, like, you bring up the comparison of what they're doing. They're really getting NFL money.
Miami gave him $4.3 million?
That's what the evaluation says. Hey,
did they watch this game against us?
You don't have to be great, Coach.
That's so good. That's so
it's
good.
True.
It's absolutely true. Like these dollar amounts are just ridiculous. They're absurd. Carson Beck's not worth $4.3 million.
I don't think he's getting that. He said their valuation, from what I read, the numbers on his Miami deal have been pretty exaggerated. Look, I can't.
Well, that's another thing.
And
how do we know?
And Bart's right. I mean, to think that Carson Beck would be worth $4.3 million a year, I mean, that's insane. I don't care if the guy's – well, now let me rephrase that. If he's someone who could go 15-0 in terms of value to you to your university, well, we can debate whether or not it's worth $4.3 million. But that's not going to happen. Carson Beck's not the reason Georgia was great. I mean, I'm not going to say they were great in spite of him, but he's not the reason they were a good football program.
Again, it's just who will pay you something. Like who
well,
will give you. But I'm waiting for, and you guys can tell me if it's happened already, and I'm just not thinking of it. I'm waiting for the moment where somebody gets paid like that, and it worked out for the team they go to. Yeah. Like it changed the whole thing. Like without them, without doing that, they wouldn't have won. Yeah. I think the opposite is going to happen more often than not. I think Nico put himself in a position to have a worse career in college.
Well, the pressure's on.
He went from a college football playoff team, starting quarterback for a team that made the college football playoff, to a team that went 5-7 last year and won 3 Big Ten games.
But this is about individuals. This is not. I'm not saying they don't want to win, but I'm saying a lot of these kids are about where can I shine, where can I be the guy. If we go 12-0, that's great. But if we go 7-5 or 5-7, that's okay too, as long as I have my numbers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not working. Like that's what we've created, and that's what we're getting. And Tennessee's worse off, and Iamaleva's worse off.
Well,
in my opinion, we'll see how it shakes out. But that's just what it looks like to me.
You just never know what you're going to get with some of these guys. If he goes out there and he turns them into a prolific Big Ten contender, then whatever they're spending, they're not spending enough. If he goes out there and they're just like they've been, then whatever they're spending's too much. And that's just kind of how it works. And it's not this way all the time. But, like, for example, Arkansas this weekend got 4 commitments. 4 commitments from guys who are going to come in here and play. I don't know if they're going to set the world on fire or not. I don't know if they're going to be good players or they're going to be complete washouts. But there are a lot more players in college football like these guys than there are guys like Nico. We tend to focus on guys like Nico, and I get it. I do too. But, you know, college football is filled with guys who are still, like, hungry and looking for a chance. And if, like, for example, Nico at UCLA, if he joins a team out there of guys that are hungry and he comes in and plays the way he's capable of playing, hey, that's a match. But if he goes into a situation where a bunch of guys are already unhappy, and then you got a prima donna coming in there, and he's Nico, you're going to struggle. So, I mean, we'll see. You just never know what you're going to get. And I know that's about that's as vague as it gets, but it's true.
I just wish we could get all the information. Like, can you just tell us what happened?
Well, we're not going to get all.
But that just leads to all this speculation. But you're right, and Pittman talked about that on Friday when he was on the show. That everybody's hearing about this because it's Nico and it's high profile and all that. But this is what's been happening every year at every program behind the scenes with players that just not as high profile. But it's so challenging for these coaches and their rosters and getting guys to play together as a team. And navigating that is not what any of these coaches signed up for day one. And like we keep comparing it to like coaches and them moving around and all that. It's just different. It's completely different. First of all, you're not talking about the same amount of people. In the numbers of the people on a roster, the players on a roster versus the coaches on a staff. And what happens in a locker room. I mean, you don't have coaches walking down the hallway. I'm not saying it never happens, but side-eyeing each other getting coffee because one of them was making more money. I mean, it's just a different conversation all the way around. And, I just think Tennessee and Nico are both worse off. And we'll see, but that's what it feels
I think they are too.
877-377-6963. You can catch the show on the Hit That Line Now app. If you don't have it on your phone, download it. It's free. And you can have the show anywhere, anytime on the Hit That Line Now app. powered by Taco Bell or whatever else is airing on ESPN Arkansas at that time. If you missed the show, you can catch it on Spotify or Apple via podcast, Google, YouTube. I don't know, wherever you get podcasts. And
wherever you download your favorite podcast.
We are on demand. In demand, on demand. It's 6:32. It's the Chuck and Bo Show, Monday after Easter. Good morning.
Do you think Kim Mulkey could operate a jackhammer?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I'm Dr. Scotty Bolding, a native Arkansan oral and maxillofacial surgeon. One of my goals is to make Arkansans healthier.
If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies.
Sleep is probably God's gift of medicine that we really don't utilize enough. If you have obstructive sleep apnea, it needs to be treated. So you need to be wearing your CPAP. So if you're not wearing your CPAP, there are some potential surgical solutions that can help you that actually work today. By correcting the jaw deformities that may be causing this obstructive sleep apnea is where we focus.
Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better.
Hey, give us a call, 479-755-3000, or log on to our website, precedent.com, PRECIDENT. We'd love to help.
Today's been it's been a strange day.
Yeah, we've had some struggles here and there. Let's just be blunt. Can we be blunt?
Well, it's 50-50 at best.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You need to run that tape back for me because that didn't happen. Don't come at me with that crap.
Don't come at me.
Yeah.
Not up in here.
Yeah. You must have your shows mixed up. Like, that didn't happen here, pal.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Yeah, I've been reading the text. We've been reading the text about the spring game, and I know there are people who are upset about it. You always hear from the people who came, expended effort, and then it didn't work out. Those are the people that you hear from, and I understand that. Just for the record, all of us that were going to work the spring game, I put about 2.5, 3 hours of work prepping for the ball game in, and then I got the text saying we're not going to go. So I get it. I understand people, you put some effort into preparing for something, and then it doesn't work out, and you're mad, and you want to be mad at somebody. Now, I get it. I understand that. But, guys, it's springtime in the South, and I don't know what you do. Just because it's not raining at a particular hour doesn't mean it's okay to play. I don't know the condition of the field going in. We all assume that, a football field's in the same condition in the spring that it's in the fall. I don't know. I know that if somebody had gotten hurt on Saturday, that everybody would be saying, well, what in the world were you thinking? I'm sure that, there was some thought put into whether or not they were going to have the autograph session. And I think that's probably what, based on the text we've gotten, what people are most up in arms about. But my guess would be if they had that, the attendance would have been minimal. My guess is that it would have been not just minimal, but very minimal because of the weather, because of the fact they didn't play a game. So would there have been some people that had been there? Sure. But by the same token, I'm going to guess that by the time you staff it and bring everybody in, do all the things you got to do, obviously a decision was made that it wasn't worth it. They also had recruits on campus. That may have played a role in it. I don't know. But I get people being upset, and it would have been nice. We all had the weekend planned. I did. I think lots of people around the state did. They were going to come to Fayetteville. They were going to go to the baseball game. They were going to go to the football game the next day, and then they were going to go back to the baseball game. Or they were going to drive up Saturday morning, go to the football game, go to the baseball game, get home late that night, and still make it into Easter Sunday church. So, but sometimes the weather just does not cooperate. And yes, it would be nice if the weather would give you, 24 to 48 hours of certainty that it is going to rain now at this hour. But it just doesn't work that way in the spring. So I get people being upset, but
I really don't.
Well,
I honestly
I get people being, when your day's messed up. I get it, but it doesn't mean it's somebody's fault. It doesn't mean somebody screwed up just because your day didn't go exactly the way you had planned.
I guess, yeah, that's true. I do understand anybody being annoyed by their day not going like they wanted it to, or some circumstance happening and you think it could have been different and you don't understand why it happened that way. But I've also come to realize that people just want to be mad.
Well, that's
part
of it.
It's just like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm reading text about like the AD sucks because he didn't come out and make some statement and tell people why the game was canceled. What is that would that change your day? Would that really change your day? If Hunter Yurachek, recorded a personal video message apologizing that there was too much water, or, they had a forecast that was, sketchy at best, and they had already had, 15 inches of rain or whatever it was. We got roofs coming off in Fayetteville. It's unpredictable. And it wasn't, if you woke up on Saturday morning and thought they were still going to play the spring game. By the way, all those people that are complaining about it were doing so after the fact, after the weather ended up clearing out a little bit later. Not while. I don't see those responses while there's lightning and it's so loud that your window's about to crack in your house from thunder. What are we complaining about? It's a spring game.
My guess would be, if you want to get right down to it, if you want to get just down to the brass tacks, the people who were upset about the autograph session had unhappy kids. or they wanted as an adult to go get a 21-year-old's autograph. But here's the thing. That's going to be rescheduled. They'll do that when preseason practice begins in August. There's going to be an autograph session. And it's not like these guys are kept sequestered where you can't ever get to them anyway.
Yeah, Matt, I do keep coming off smug because it's ridiculous. Like, were you going, Matt? Were you? Why don't you call in? Let's have this conversation instead of being a keyboard warrior. 877-377-6963. Just keep firing text and swearing at me. I mean, like, come on, dude. The amount of, like clean your language up to start with. Maybe you're not even capable of calling because you wouldn't be able to talk without swearing at 6:43 in the morning. Like, calm the flip down. Like, really? You're this worked up about a spring game?
He didn't say flip.
Jeez. I mean, like, I swear a lot of this is just something to complain about.
Well,
what are you talking about?
There's this notion that's been fed that little people don't matter and all. I mean, and
yeah, that's another one. The university
that's not true.
Doesn't care about the fans.
Well, I know
they just want.
I know
our
that's
money.
the narrative. I understand all. It's not true.
But let's talk about.
But
that.
when a narrative gets going, sometimes it's. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to.
I want to talk about that narrative when we come back.
All right.
Like, I need somebody to call and explain to me that narrative. Like, don't set it in a text and leave all this, ambiguity in it. Like, tell me how like, what they're doing over there, these awful people that Chuck and I stick up for because we get the talking points and all that crap. Like what is it that they're doing to get over on you? Like, I want to understand it. I'll be a listener for a minute.
Every time you play a spring game, there's a group of people that say, why bother? But then when you don't play a spring game or you don't have an autograph session, people say the AD ought to make a statement.
There's just a group of people that say, why bother, Chuck? It is the vast majority. 97% of fans are not going to a spring game.
No, you're right about that.
They can't even fill up one side of the stadium ever at a spring game.
Bart's calling a TO.
Yeah, I'm calling a timeout because this Matt in Huntsville character.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. He has
phone
sent
line's open.
He has sent 5 text messages this morning.
And long ones.
Long text messages. And I'm just going back and through these and reading them. And Matt comes off as one of these adult autograph hounds. Like, every text is about the autograph session, and he comes on. Now, Matt may very well have children who are disappointed about the autograph session. It's not this big a deal. It's not this big of 5 angry text messages.
I think I was,
and he's coming off as an autograph.
That's why I told
like one
Matt
of these
to go
adult
ahead.
autograph
Bart,
hounds
can I have your autograph?
who wants to
call the show.
Who wants to like sell stuff on eBay and stuff like that.
Call the show. 877-377-6963.
It's just making me laugh.
Tell me about Weichert, Chuck. 877-377-6963 because they are not like this. They are level-headed people.
They are, and as your son found out, they know what they're doing. They'll help you get into your home, particularly if it's first time out. Weichert Realtors, a Griffin company. They've been our partners. They are our partners, and they're going to be our partners in the future, and that's why we recommend them. Because they understand their trade better than anybody out there, whether you're a buyer or a seller. These are the best trained agents in the business. Nobody's better trained than a Weichert agent, and I can say that with 100% confidence. That benefits you, whether you're buying or selling. Now, they're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties, Fort Smith, Branson. You're going to see their yellow signs all over town. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company.
Matt, we're holding a line just for you. 877-377-6963. You already know the number because you've been just texting it relentlessly. So go ahead and call it. Back in a minute.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I've been waiting to say this for 5 years. Sterling in Center Ridge.
This is quite the coup that they have put together. Bo and Chuck, this is a dream team.
Hey, you can beat inflation and upgrade your ride at Chevy of Fayetteville. Right now, drive home a brand new Chevy Silverado, Blazer, Equinox EV, or the Tough 2500 with rates as low as 1.9% APR. Plus, take advantage of huge discounts and get top dollar for your trade-in. Go see Chris, Mark, and Denver at Chevy of Fayetteville, where the deals are big and the road ahead is even better. Chevy of Fayetteville. Let's drive. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got the experience and they've got your back.
So don't go it alone. Make the right call. Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
We care a lot about supporting Arkansas businesses here on the Chuck and Bo Show, and we both like keeping our rides looking good. Splash Car Wash just became our new neighbors here in Fayetteville. They're a locally owned Arkansas business, and they've been serving the state since 1989. They're good folks, and you can get a free car wash by texting Splash Arkansas to 22322. That's Splash Arkansas to 22322.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
How was Saturday night for you after the game? What'd you do to celebrate?
The only remedy, I thought maybe get a few cold beers in there, maybe help it out a little bit.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
for more money if I can find it. The portal's open on the show.
Okay.
I think the NPR station's on the phone.
Nah, their funding's been cut.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
JR is in Shady Grove. He has braved the phone line. He's actually picked up the phone and he's called. JR, good morning. What's happening?
Good morning. How you guys?
Doing
JR.
great. Doing great. Happy Easter.
Good. Hey, happy Easter to you guys, too. Seemingly picked up some guys out of the portal for the weekend. How long is this window open till again? Is it the 25th? Is that correct?
I'm not sure.
Wow, we'd have to go to the situation room for that.
I'm not sure what the date is. It's
okay.
I don't think they're. I think the bulk of what they're doing is done. I could be wrong. Now, look, there's going to be some guys. I suspect today and tomorrow there are going to be some Razorbacks enter the portal, and there are going to be some other guys enter the portal too. 25th. 25th,
yeah,
right.
April 25th.
Yeah, April 25th.
When it ends.
So not that long.
Not that long. But I think this week there'll be some guys on the team now that leave. I don't know. Pittman kind of alluded to this, that, numerically you'll replace them. But from what I understand, they're right at 85, like almost on the button right now. So
that's what I was thinking.
I don't know how much more movement you're going to see in terms of bringing guys in. You might, but I think it'll just be, something numeric and probably not more than, one or two, if that. I'd be surprised at that if you want to know the truth.
Okay. Y'all have a good day.
All right.
You
Thank
too.
you, JR.
Yeah. What if you'd gotten the autograph on Saturday and then the player leaves? Does that make it better or worse?
Does it make it more valuable?
Yeah, I don't know. What if you'd gotten autographs on Saturday, but you didn't get Phillip Lee's or Shakir Smalls or Julian Neal or
I got another
Trent
question.
Whalen? These are all guys that just came in. Like, they wouldn't have been at the autograph session.
What if you got autographs Saturday and then part of your roof got blown off yesterday?
Right.
Did you have a good weekend? It's the question of the day right there.
Or what if that popped up while you were getting autographs?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Blew the pen right out of his hand.
I don't know. That's why they don't consult with guys like you and me. At least, before the
you
fact.
You guys are brutal.
Matt in Huntsville. Matt in Huntsville still hasn't called. And he also quit texting.
Well, he got called out.
All the
profanity.
All this profanity.
Bo keeps coming off smug as bleep about the whole deal.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
The doors are open, and it's a new era of elegance. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry has unveiled its stunningly redesigned 8,500 square foot showroom for an unmatched luxury experience. There's breathtaking jewelry, of course, expert service, and private viewing rooms designed for comfort. And they've got an in-house cafe with handcrafted coffee to go along with a special coffee table book celebrating Arkansas's heritage. Because it's more than jewelry, it's your story at Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. If you're having issues with your gutters or drainage around the house, you need to call Hog Trough Gutters. They're locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching and French drains. Plus, they're fully licensed and insured, and every job comes with a 20-year guarantee. Hog Trough Gutters services all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Log on to their website, hoggutters.com, to find out more. That's hog, Gutters.com.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't know what on time is for you, but yeah, you got here before the show started.
Whatever. Hey, have you ever seen anyone that takes so much pride in being the first one here?
It's unacceptable now. It's unacceptable in the future. It's unacceptable tomorrow. You're fired. On the board. It's unacceptable now. It's unacceptable in the future. It's unacceptable tomorrow.
I got no answers.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
I've been up since 4. That's 2.5 hours ago. I had lunch already and a smoke break.
Took his 15-minute break.
Let me just tell you right now, this show doesn't wake up slowly most days. We come in hot. Some people sandbag the 6 o'clock hour. You know, they kind of find their footing. Chuck walks in with a cup of coffee in his hand at 5:51, and he walks up to me and he goes, "What do you want to talk about?"
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
Driving my son to school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "Let's turn on the Chuck and Bo Show."
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
I've thought about it some more. I thought about it the entire break.
I know you did. I saw you deep in thought over
And
there.
I have reached a conclusion that I can't believe they canceled the spring game.
You decided that?
It's just wrong. It's just flat wrong.
It's unacceptable now. It's unacceptable in the future. It's unacceptable tomorrow.
That's how I feel. It's unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
It's all of the above. On
It's
that.
unacceptable now. It's unacceptable in the future. It's unacceptable tomorrow.
So I don't know who this is directed at, but it's somebody.
You're fired.
You're done.
Yeah, that's it.
You are done because of the spring game. I don't know if it's the weather guy. I don't know if it's the AD. I don't know if it's another AD. It's somebody. Somebody's got to get fired, Chuck. That's the only way.
These people that can't predict the weather.
What are we talking about? Why are we so upset about the spring game? Like, I hold the belief, okay? I hold the belief that the people that are vocal weren't going anyhow.
You think that's it?
I do. If you were going and your plans were disrupted, you can complain. If you were not, shut up. Like, this is what's funny to me. It's actually kind of irritating, but it's funny, too, that people complain about things that have zero impact on them. Like, I know people that had their seats changed and all that with the reseating at Bud Walton Arena complained about it. But we rarely heard from anybody who actually had their seats moved. It's just interesting to me. I know they complain. They talk to their friends and whatever. They don't call the show. They don't text the show. Most of them. The people that do just want to complain. They weren't even involved, which is interesting to me. Like this Wes in Huntsville, who, by the way, just suddenly disappeared after a string of profanities, profanity-laced text messages.
Matt. We don't want to besmirch Wes. It was Matt.
Sorry. Yeah. Matt. I think Wes is still stuck in my head from Weston mossing us.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it.
That A&M pitcher that just took us
I'm
to
sure
school.
neither one of them is their actual name, but in this case, the fake name was
His
Matt.
name is actually probably Wes, and he changed it to Matt.
That's right.
Well, anyhow.
Bo's already looked him up.
Brent and Cersei. Yeah, I found him on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I doubt he's on LinkedIn. Highly doubt it. Brent, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Brent, what's happening?
Bo, I just got to tell you, I am sorry I was not able to. I couldn't get through the war zone to get over there and give you your.
I told you it's just hell out here in front of the office.
Hey, Bo, they need to put Kim Mulkey in charge of the jackhammer.
100. She'd have it done.
She'd have it work.
She'd have it
worked.
How
out.
long is this going to
But
be
I got-
like this?
I don't know. I can go back out there and interview them today if you want.
Would you mind?
When they get out there, I'll go out there and talk to them live again.
We should have gone to
I
Brent
got-
out
I
there. Go ahead, Brent.
I got to tell you about my weekend.
All right.
Up in Fayette. I go to the stay at the Holiday Inn in Springdale, and I'm in the bed fast asleep at 2:00 in the morning in my clothes, thank God, and I hear the alarms start going off, the lights start flickering. I hop out of the bed, get in the chair, and roll down to the lobby. They said, "Go." You saw a handicapped man and about 50 other people in the stairwell. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I said, "I'm going to die, and my sister won't care. She hasn't even called to check on me, and been in the bed in Cersei since 9 o'clock.
Well, it wasn't raining
I got
there.
nobody up. Oh, you're right. But we were like 2 seconds. It hit across the freeway from where the Holiday Inn is.
Wow.
And I was scared and that just gave me a great ending to the weekend that was playing Texas A&M in baseball. I despise them. But if we hadn't pitched to Chase Lavalette all weekend, we'd have won the series.
You'd have walked him, wouldn't you?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm just telling you. You hit 2 on me. I'm not going to give you a chance to hit 4. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, these guys they're not going to back down from that.
He was the best player on the field, that's for sure.
Oh,
they want to challenge their pitchers. Maybe if you're in a do-or-die situation, maybe you play it differently than you do at this point in the season.
That relief pitcher for Friday night, Thursday night was no joke.
Yeah, he was
Thursday
good.
night, he was no joke.
Yeah, Moss, right?
Golly.
Wasn't that his name?
Yeah, is that his name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I called him earlier. I hope it's right. It's been a long time. Thursday feels like a year ago.
It really does.
By the way, can we just real quick, Brent, and you're welcome to start it off. If there's anybody you want to complain about today, take a shot at, blame for whatever. I mean, today's your day. Clearly, people are waking up on Monday. Like Easter never even happened. Like, we have all this to be grateful for. And it's like it never even happened. And we're just going to come in here and the whole world is just falling apart in 24 hours.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I got so many people I can complain about it would do no good. I just keep it grooving, keep it moving. I agree. I don't think they should ever have spring games because you could get a star player hurt and done for the year. That'd be the Razorback way, unfortunately. But I'm all in for not playing spring games. And can you answer me this? Who's hit the portal for football, and who did we pick up? Do y'all know?
Well, I don't know that there's anybody that's announced other than the Murphy kid. And look, I do think there will probably be some today and tomorrow. I don't think they're going to be guys who are going to play. I may be surprised by 1 or 2, but I don't think so. They got 4 commitments over the weekend.
Phillip Lee, edge from Troy. DB Shakur Smalls from Maine. DB Julian Neal from Stanford. Linebacker Trent Whalen from Kent State.
They needed defensive backs and they needed an edge rusher. That was one of the things that they really felt like they needed. Now, they needed more depth at linebacker, but I think they're pretty well set at that spot. But they need more bodies, frankly, in the secondary right now, and they're going to have somebody rush the passer. So they felt like they needed these guys, and they got them.
All right, we're going to take Matt's call. Matt, please keep it clean. Matt in Huntsville, who's been texting the show. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. All right, I'm going to give you a little background real quick of my U of A knowledge fandom. I was at the Baylor game in the late 90s when it snows. I saw Andre Ware. I go back to who was the guy that for Alabama that busted, the 80-yard opening kickoff, and it was 55-0. I sat through that game. I go back to we've had season basketball tickets 45 years, and we're getting reseeded, and I get that. I get the reseeding. Sure, it sucks, stinks, but I get it. I get people need to be shuffled for what they're paying. I also get that for 3 seasons we upped our donation pretty good in basketball trying to get better seats. Each year was, hey, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yep, we'll see what happens. 3rd year, yeah, we're going to do the best we can. Nothing. So what do we do the year 40? We go back to the bare minimum of here's our minimum donation just to keep our seats. So, and when I say, yeah, our AD should do something, he's blasting off, not Instagram, Twitter, softball, gymnastics, baseball. It's just messaging, fellas. Just say, man, we're gutted for the spring game. We're terribly sorry about the autograph session. Just say something. That's all people want. Don't go quiet on it. Just say on Thursday, Friday, we hope to have a game. We hope that we get to do this. Don't come on and have your head football coach saying, spring game gets rained out. We're going to have a lengthy autograph session. We'll have the autograph session. just don't say it. Say we hope. It's all about messaging in these things. And the messaging sometimes is horrible from them over there. So, 45 years we've donated to the U of A. Parents graduate from the U of A, wife graduates from the U of A. So we have done our due diligence for the University of Arkansas.
I get what you're. Let me stop you just for a second.
If there's a sure.
I get what you're saying, and I hear you, but I think in convincing us if you're bona fides, you're kind of revealing that you've gotten mad before. That maybe your frustration over the lack of messaging, as you put it, which is not an invalid point. Maybe the fact that you're upset about that stems from the fact that, over the years, it's like, well, I wanted this, and they didn't get us that, and they promised us this, and I just can't help but wonder if maybe your frustration right now is the culmination of maybe what's happened over the years.
Oh, sure it is. Absolutely, Chuck. I mean, it's just about messaging. Guys, if these people that had their unfortunate, their roofs blown off, if they show up to their Allstate agent today and he's closed, what are these people going? They're going to be like, well, what do you mean you're closed?
Well, there's a little difference in that in a spring game.
And I get that. There's a ton of difference. But there is. It's just about messaging. It's like our AD can fire off a text from his house or a tweet, whatever you want to call it, in 9 seconds. We're sorry. We're gutted. It was all about fan safety. You all said they'll make the autograph session up. Is that from the U of A or is that just an assumption?
That's what they said. That's what they said.
Okay.
That's what they said.
And I don't know where they said that, but I'm like, just fire it off. Just show something that says, hey, we're gutted. If there's a program up there that needs to be kissing the hind ends of fans, man, it's football. Fellas, it's football. It drives the ship, and it has been somewhat lackluster.
This is why
I'm saying is
this is why I wanted you to call. Texts don't have the conversation.
I appreciate. I'm 45. I had to finish my workout. You're old.
Hey,
you gotta lift 2
that always gets me too.
Well, when you finish a workout, you usually have a clearer head, and you've made your point well. And I appreciate you calling and doing that. And I don't think this is invalid, as Chuck pointed out. And I would also say, not to defend a lack of communication, I don't know what all has been said or what hasn't been said, but I've heard this complaint before, and I think that large organizations, by and large, in corporate America, for example, struggle with this. It is a struggle sometimes on how to communicate or who didn't communicate what or whatever. But I agree with Chuck. I don't think this is about messaging on the spring game. I think people are pissed off they're not better at football. And then all of the other things that happen are like a result of we're not very good at football. Because if you're really good at football, this stuff isn't as important. I mean, it still matters, and it's a nuisance.
You're probably correct.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I hear you.
You can hide in the back a little bit if you're great at something.
Well, yeah, winning covers a multitude of issues. Right, absolutely.
And you kind of need to be front and center.
Yeah. Matt, thank you for the call.
And I think it's a hard look for Sam to say twice in a press conference and on y'all's show, hey, we're going to have it. And then it's like, well, crickets.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I just think that's a hard look for them to overcome on a few other things. It's like, man, let's not add that to the list, fellas.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Enough. Let's not put that one out there.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate the call, Matt. Thank you.
I understand the power in autographs. And sometimes I don't think some people do. You say autographs, and I mean, that's the magic word. But I don't think that's what Matt's upset about. I think you hit the nail on the head. He's mad because they're not better in football right now. This is a reason to gripe, and I understand that too.
I get it. And if they go win 8-9 games or something this year, people are gonna not care about what the messaging that came out of the spring game. But right now, that's what you can be mad about. So you are. Hey, don't be mad about a dirty car. Like, you can take care of your ride, make it clean, make it look good, ride around town with your, a little personal pride in your vehicle. And we're going to help you do that. If you don't already have a membership, you can get one at Splash Car Wash, or you can just get a free car wash today. See what you think about it. Text Splash Arkansas to 22322, 22322. Splash Arkansas. One word. They've been in business since 1989.
Arkansas people helping Arkansans keep their cars clean. We got a new location in Fayetteville, just off College Avenue, right near our studio. In fact, right next door. Great location, great job, great service, great people at Splash Car Wash. Splash, Arkansas to 22322. Get a free car wash today.
I don't like getting up early in the mornings. I mean, even to go duck hunting, but I do get up every morning now to listen to you guys.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweat No Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatnomecosmetic.com and click on the Sweat No Edge.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
There's nothing like a college football Saturday, a few beers, your phone, and Twitter.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
on my bucket list is to be around a campfire with Chuck when he's got a couple in him. And I want to hear the stories.
I know anything I would say would be fodder for this show,
Absolutely.
and I would be made fun of.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Tony Romo is 45 today.
Wow.
Rob Riggle's 55. Tony Danza is 74. Happy
Doesn't
birthday.
seem possible.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Sorry we missed it. If you want to call in and wish someone a happy birthday, I mean, we're always here for it. 877-377-6963. Yesterday I saw a new Chevy Silverado, heading into church. I'm like, that's a good-looking vehicle. Fayetteville Auto Park is where you can find Chevy at Fayetteville. They've got incredible deals also on vehicles, not only at Chevy, but Honda, Acura, Toyota, a huge selection of pre-owned options. 25 years in business, built on trust, relationships, and top-tier service. Award-winning service and collision departments keep you covered for maintenance and repairs. And they've got complimentary loaners at the Fayetteville Auto Park. Drive with confidence at the Fayetteville Auto Park. Rod is on I-40. Rod, good morning. Chuck and Bo Show, what's happening?
Good morning, guys. It's a beautiful day. So, what we have here is failure to communicate. Which is why we got what we had last week. I love that movie. Are we in danger of becoming a basketball school? Because, I mean, it's gone apart, for God's sake.
Perry.
I mean, I found myself paying more attention to basketball program these days.
Well, that's what happens, if you're winning. And you're not the first person to say that. What? So are you concerned? Like, does that bother you if you're a basketball school?
Yeah, but I'm a football guy. I don't want to be Kentucky West. I mean, this has always been a football school, but now I'm starting to see this thing happening with the basketball team, and I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited about the people he's brought in, where it's going. I mean, I'm thinking Final Four next year. I mean, and the football team is languishing pretty much where it's been now for 6 years. And the baseball team is okay, doing all right. It's not as much as I wanted it to be, but there's a basketball team. I'm like, come on, guys, we're not Kentucky. We're not a basketball school. We're a football school.
What makes you a football school?
Well, it's been the flagship of the programs of the university since at least 1964. We've had some great times with basketball and baseball, but when Kentucky had really no football team for years and years, the basketball team was what they hung their hat on, the banners, in their arena and all that. And darn it, I want some banners in football too, right? Just a couple, maybe one. We won the SEC, that'd be really nice. Be in the playoff, that'd be really nice. And here we are, the basketball team. They made Sweet 16. They were in the breath of making the Elite Eight. I mean, they should have made the Elite Eight.
So I got one more question for you. When you say in danger of becoming a basketball school, what is causing that thought for you? Where does that come from?
I'm watching everybody lean basketball. And I mean, people I've known for years that's always talked football. All of a sudden, they're talking basketball. And I'm thinking, so it's not just me. It's other people I know, right?
Okay. Rod, thank you. It's always great to hear from you. Have a great Monday. Appreciate you.
You too, sir.
Out there driving I-40, driving that truck. 877-377-6963. I kind of understand what he's saying, but I'm not sure I really get it.
We've always fancied ourselves a football school. I mean, we think of ourselves as a football school. For years and years and years in the Southwest Conference, that's what we were. Eddie Sutton came along, and we became multiple sports. Played for the national championship in baseball in '79. People began to pay more attention. Went to Omaha multiple times in the '80s. But it really was, until 20 years later, people really started paying attention to baseball. But we were a football school for years and years and years. And a lot of people still think of Arkansas as a football-first school. We fancy ourselves that. It's been a tougher road in the SEC. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And the success that we've had as a program in the SEC has come in other sports. There's also the reality that in some quarters in the Southeastern Conference, until or unless you're good in football, then you're really not an elite member. And I know there are people in our league that feel that way. And that's kind of the quandary that we've been in for about 30 years now. I don't know what the full answer is. There are times, I know some of it's, what's hot. Football, I can tell you from hosting talk shows, football became a year-round sport here in the 90s. Whatever you want to say about Houston Nutt, his ability to attract attention made conversation about football a year-round sport, whereas before it had not been. And that's part of being in the SEC, is you talk football first, when you travel. And people say, how the Razorbacks going to be this year? They're not asking about basketball or baseball. They're asking how good you're going to be in football. That's what they're asking. So I get it. People being frustrated about that. I don't know what the answer is in terms of are you football, basketball. I know that basketball is hot right now. Baseball, they played for the national championship, and people get bored unless they're doing it again. I mean, I don't know. But I know people want to be good in football too.
It's interesting how he described it, and it makes sense to me when he said the reason that I'm concerned or the reason that I think this is happening is because that's the conversation. Basketball's the conversation.
It is. Not
football. But I believe that's going to change drastically when we get to a different time of the year. July, August. It's going like we're in spring. Like we're coming out of a Sweet 16 season with a Hall of Fame coach in his first year, and we've got this new thing with the transfer portal, and you wonder who's going to be on your roster and all this. And football, you haven't gotten there yet, and you haven't been winning at a high level, and so you get to that later. My thing is, like, you don't get a choice, really. Basketball's different in Indiana. It's different in Kentucky. It just is. Like, that's what people in those two states grow up thinking and talking about, and then they get to football season and they deal with that. But you don't, like, get to pick, like somebody put in here, we're a track school. Now, like, you win in track, and you win in baseball. But you're never going to have as many people trying to get into Baum Stadium as you do into Razorback Reynolds Stadium, the football stadium. There's just more people that are attracted to football than basketball or baseball or track. The problem is when you're not good at it, like, that's frustrating.
We can't lose sight of the fact, and should not lose sight of the fact, that success or failure in the era now, as opposed to the long ago era of 2 or 3 years ago, is determined by how much money you have. I mean, look, Arkansas had a sub-500 season in basketball. What happened? Big money. Big money. That's what happened. When the top players in college basketball go into the portal, it's not a question of money. It's a question of, is Cal interested in them? It's not a question of, can we afford them? It's a question of, are they good enough? Can we select them? In football, I mean, you're pinching pennies. You're trying to decide, can I afford this guy? And a lot of times the answer is no. So let's not act like that money doesn't have a lot to do with it. This basketball team was a game below 500 in the preceding season. What changed? Money. If without the money, there's no Cal. Without those guarantees, Cal, the conversation doesn't change with Hunter. And Cal suddenly starts thinking, well, maybe I want to go. In the modern era, again, as opposed to the long ago era, it's about how much money you got. And I hate to say it that way, but it's just the truth.
Well, and no matter how much money, Chuck, you have or don't have, everybody needs a bank. And that's why First Security Bank is the one we recommend, because more convenient locations throughout the state help you bank better. And they've got friendly professionals to help you do all the banking you need, whatever your need is. Arkansans doing it for Arkansans for many, many years, and they're all in on the Razorbacks and supporting the Razorbacks. The official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show, First Security Bank. FSbank.com if you want to bank online or just learn more about them. First Security Bank, member FDIC. 7:32, it's Monday. Good morning.
It's going to be a tough slog from now till the end of time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
If you haven't tried a Flight by Yingling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yingling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yingling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
When is the last time you thought, oh, the SEC's making an announcement today, and it's going to be good for the Hogs?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
you're just going to have to go today. You're just going to have to. Today is going to be
what I told myself.
one of those days you're just going to have to go, and you'll be glad you did.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
While we're in the middle of talking about Arkansas being a football or basketball school, you're welcome to join in, by the way. 877-377-6963. A few other things happened in sports over the weekend that we're going to get into, including this.
Jalen Williams. Oklahoma City with 14 threes and a 52-point lead.
Whoa. Against the Memphis Grizzlies. Bart is in the Situation Room. Noted Grizz fan.
He's not wearing his Grizzlies
Chevy
hat today,
of Fayetteville. Chevy of Fayetteville brings you the Situation Room. Here's Bart. What happened?
Well, a good old-fashioned butt kicking is what we call it.
Yeah.
Is that what y'all call it in Memphis?
No, we use some more colorful language back in
the
the
woodshed.
901. It was a whooping.
By the way, Jalen Williams is having an incredible year. He's had an incredible year.
He's having the time of his life is
For
what he's
sure.
having. I mean, and he's always been a happy guy, it seems. But wow. I mean, you want to talk, and Isaiah Joe, too. I mean, gosh, what a couple of guys living the dream. A couple of Fort Smith guys living the dream.
Fun to watch. Great teammate. He's up for I don't know if would they call him teammate of the year? Or,
yeah.
That's it. What a great Razorback. Took more charges than anybody in the history of the game. I mean, what's not to love? What's not to love about Jalen Williams? I love it when guys like that go half. You're not surprised because you know who they are, what they're about, and they've got the talent. They're going to make it, and it's happening for them, and it's fun to watch.
Let's talk more about the Grizzlies.
Less fun. It was less fun for me to watch yesterday.
Yeah. At what point did you realize that it was over? 2 minutes in, a minute in?
About 5 minutes in.
5 minutes?
Yeah. Grizzlies actually jumped up to a 4-0 lead. And I was yelling, stop the count.
Short-lived. Well, it's is it 7 games in the first round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's a long way to go.
Of course, watching the game with my relatives who live in Oklahoma and are Thunder fans. And they were like, wait, how do you feel about this? Because you've got 2 of your guys on the Thunder. And you're a Grizzlies guy. And I'm like, well, I love those guys, but, they're the enemy right now.
He loves his city.
They're the enemy.
His city, the city.
When it comes to professional sports.
We're probably going to get swept. I'm going to be totally honest with you.
You'll win a game.
We fired our coach with 8 games left in the season.
You'll win game 4.
Our rookie of the year finalist is out for the year because he got undercut by a Charlotte Hornets player and suffered all sorts of injuries. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. We just kind of want the season to be over.
Well, it's the time of year when the playoffs roll around where we use the word stave for the only time in the year. And so they'll stave off elimination when it's 3-0, and they'll make it 3-1. And then the Thunder will close it out.
They say the playoff series doesn't start until a road team wins a game.
Yeah, I've heard that.
In other news, the Yankees had a pitcher.
Ooh.
What's it, Max Fried?
Max Fried.
Spelled fried, pronounced Fried.
Max Fried has a no-hitter going into the 8th inning. Before he takes the mound, or as he takes the mound to start the 8th inning, the official scorer changed an error from earlier in the game to a hit. So without doing anything else, he's on the mound, he's just lost his no-hitter.
Yeah, tough scene.
It was the right ruling, though. It never should have been scored an error in the first place.
That's just
the guy was
the
going to take
timeliness of that is
forever.
Unfortunate.
Well,
yeah.
It's
what happens there, Chuck? Do they you've been in those press boxes where all that's going down, you've been calling games. How does this happen where later they just come back and change it? Do you think somebody walked in there from one of the suites and was just dude, you're going to never live that down.
Well,
have to change that.
It's
I know exactly.
It's different in college and the big leagues. In college, the head coach calls up to the press box and says, that's a terrible ruling. In the big leagues, there are probably some phone calls too. The guys do go back and look at the video. The people in the press box offer their opinions, solicited and unsolicited, I'm sure. And
how do you get that job to be the official scorer?
But yeah, there's conversation from the dugout. I guarantee you, there's conversation from the dugout. Back in the old days, before they had all the communication like they do now, guys would just walk out to the top step of the dugout and look up at the press box.
Yeah. A lot of conversation in the press box going towards with team personnel going toward the official score. Like
they work.
What do you do?
I forget Bart's been in this position having worked for the Cardinals affiliate in Memphis.
That's right.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of lobbying that goes on.
Yeah, it's fun.
And clearly, the guy just broke. At some point, he just broke. That's what happened.
Do we know this guy's name?
The official scorer's name?
Yeah.
Bill Matthews.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Bart's gotten to the bottom of it already.
That's what you do in the situation. Right?
I guess so. There's no situation too small.
By the way, Nate Ament has made his decision on where he's going to go to school, and it's not Arkansas. He's going to Tennessee. Wonder what kind of money Tennessee paid him, and did that have anything to do with the money they saved from Nico?
I don't know.
Are they a football or basketball school?
Yeah, it was going to be Louisville, and then it was going to be Duke, and Arkansas was in the game, and ultimately it's Tennessee.
Do they get Nate Ament if Iamaleava is not there? Iamaleava is not there. Or if he is there, do they still get Nate Ament?
I don't know. I don't know what their pool's like. I don't know if they.
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking.
I don't know how they do it.
It's kind of it's a
rhetorical question.
Yeah, it is rhetorical.
That tells me there's probably another.
I love a good rhetorical
incoming player or two for the Razorback basketball team.
Do what now? One more time?
That tells me Nate Ament going to Tennessee. I'm not saying it's exact like causation, but that tells me there's some more portal action coming.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I don't have.
I hear you.
That's just.
To be honest with you, I haven't thought about it. With all the things that have gone on the last couple of days, I really hadn't thought about it.
877-377-6963. All right, is Arkansas a football or basketball school now? We'll get back to this. And are you mad as hell and not going to take it anymore because they didn't have a spring game? 7:45.
Or was it the autographs?
Yeah.
Was it the autographs?
Did you have your flight by Yingling in your cooler and you were tailgating and in the storm, you had a tent up, you're hunkered down, you just want to feel football. Just for a day, you want to feel football. So you got your 16-ounce resealable bottle, aluminum bottle of Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, tastes like a Yingling, but only 95 calories. It's a light Yingling, Flight by Yingling, and you were just ready for football, and then they canceled it. Is that what happened? But you still had your Flight by Yingling.
At 9:30 in the morning when they canceled it.
Take some of the sting off.
Yeah.
7:45, good morning. I'm not telling you that everything's great. I'm also not willing to say everything's terrible.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
I'm Dr. Scotty Bolding, a native Arkansan oral and maxillofacial surgeon. One of my goals is to make Arkansans healthier.
If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options thanks to some truly innovative and proven technologies.
Sleep is probably God's gift of medicine that we really don't utilize enough. If you have obstructive sleep apnea, it needs to be treated. So you need to be wearing your CPAP. So if you're not wearing your CPAP, there are some potential surgical solutions that can help you that actually work today. By correcting the jaw deformities that may be causing this obstructive sleep apnea is where we focus.
Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine works carefully with your sleep physician, determines where the underlying obstruction may be, and provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better.
Hey, give us a call, 479-755-3000, or log on to our website, precedent.com, PRECIDENT. We'd love to help.
We care a lot about supporting Arkansas businesses here on the Chuck and Bo Show, and we both like keeping our rides looking good. Splash Car Wash just became our new neighbors here in Fayetteville. They're a locally owned Arkansas business, and they've been serving the state since 1989. They're good folks, and you can get a free car wash by texting Splash Arkansas to 22322. That's Splash Arkansas to 22322.
Hey, it's Bo Mattingly, and McDonald Eye Associates is my one-stop for any vision need. The progressives they have me in are a game changer, and my new sunglasses are going to be great for baseball season. McDonald Eye was the first practice in the state to perform LASIK, and they have the most experience. They also have the new vision correction options for all ages, including cataract and clear lens replacement to see your best from all distances. For your best vision, McDonald Eye is the place to go.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
Yeah, does Chuck sleep that much? Because it just sometimes...
He's old, so when you get old, you don't really sleep as much.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I mean, look, we get up early. It's a 6 a.m. start here.
I wear the same thing every day.
You and I have like Jay Leno outfits.
I know,
we wear
that's
in
right.
Here. Yeah.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
We are in the throes of it on Easter Monday.
Yeah. What does Easter Monday mean? Does that mean some people get off Friday and Monday? Get off work Friday Monday?
I wish you had not have asked because I don't know.
I don't know either, but I've seen it on the calendar. Easter Monday. What does that mean?
Is it rhetorical or is that like, are you asking?
I'm asking you.
Oh, well.
I was asking, seeking an answer.
Well, you got to go to the Situation Room. Like that, I don't
That
know
is the
things.
sort of question Bart might know
Yes.
the answer to. What's the story
Chevy
there,
at
Bart?
Fayetteville Situation Room.
How come it's Easter
Why
Monday
does it say
on some
Easter
of the calendars?
Monday on our calendar?
Are they secular calendars? Is that the story?
Well, in a lot of like religious-based schools, Catholic schools, for example, which I grew up going to. Easter Monday is a day off of school because
just like Good Friday.
Easter falls on a Sunday, so you don't get the day off for that. So they
get a 4-day weekend. You get Good Friday and Easter Monday.
And Easter Monday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
It's almost like Christmas or Thanksgiving break.
All of a sudden, Catholic school enrollment shoots up.
Now I will say when I was in school, we had a half day on Good Friday. We didn't get the whole day.
Sterling's in Center Ridge. Sterling, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Still bitter.
Thanks for the info, Bart.
Yeah, that's how it should be all over the United States on Easter Monday. But anyway,
agreed.
Unless got Matt to call in and to explain his point. As you can, it's just a built-up frustration, like you said, but I don't think it had much to do with the spring game and messaging. It's just because it's a whole mountain of things, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back, pretty much. But it sounded like to me, and I know that when fans say ask that question about football and basketball still. I mean, this was, I hate to say always and forever, but this will always be football school in terms of, the fans. That's what comes first. It always, even before we got to the SEC, football came first. But, unlike other schools, we do have other interests, and especially if we're good at something. And I just liked it when he said the baseball teams are okay. I mean, the baseball team ranked number 2 in the country last week, ranked number 1 before that. I mean, I just hate it. It seems like that's under the stuff we have the success in feels a little bit unappreciated. And I get it. I'm like Chuck. I get it. I understand football is the main gig, but I mean, and I don't mean to knock golf or tennis or those other sports. I don't mean to knock it, but I'm just talking about sports that in this part of the country that you grew up playing. Almost everybody played those big three and ran track. I hear the music, so I'm gonna get on off here, but I just think we ought to appreciate what we have going on. And football, and Chuck already said it, until something happens money-wise, it's going to probably stay like it is in football. Guys, y'all have a great day.
All right.
Veteran caller right there. It's a veteran move,
understands the
music,
situation.
Timing. But he brings up a point that I think we should dig in on more. What does it take? And
money.
And are you going to become a basketball school? Like, what does that even mean? Basketball school versus football. So we'll dig in. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank, Flight by Yingling, Pascal Heating, Air, and Electric, the Fayetteville Auto Park, and Weichert Realtors, their Griffin Company. Almost 8 o'clock on the Chuck and Bo Show, Easter Monday. So I spent yesterday, you mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got the experience and they've got your back.
So don't go it alone. Make the right call. Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
The doors are open, and it's a new era of elegance. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry has unveiled its stunningly redesigned 8,500 square foot showroom for an unmatched luxury experience. There's breathtaking jewelry, of course, expert service, and private viewing rooms designed for comfort. And they've got an in-house cafe with handcrafted coffee to go along with a special coffee table book celebrating Arkansas's heritage. Because it's more than jewelry, it's your story at Blakeman's Fine Jewelry.
Hey, you can beat inflation and upgrade your ride at Chevy of Fayetteville. Right now, drive home a brand new Chevy Silverado, Blazer, Equinox EV, or the Tough 2500 with rates as low as 1.9% APR. Plus, take advantage of huge discounts and get top dollar for your trade-in. Go see Chris, Mark, and Denver at Chevy of Fayetteville, where the deals are big and the road ahead is even better. Chevy of Fayetteville. Let's drive.
previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
I'm a little disappointed. It cost me $100 today. But every time we have a guest on and they tell Chuck that he asked a great question, and they don't say that to me, it's another $100 that Chuck's getting out of my pocket.
Can you ask me what my name is?
Coach, what's your name?
What a great question.
Hey,
even Steven.
Hey, we're rigging this thing now. It's rigged now.
Nobody's ever asked me that. It's Samuel Don Pittman. Man, what a great question. Nobody's ever said that
The
thought.
Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "What's heard on the Chuck and Bo Show?"
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
In case you missed it earlier, Reese Burline tossed a perfect game, the third perfect game in program history for the Razorback softball team. They're ranked number 10 in the country, 34-9 on the year. They beat Colorado State in 5 innings, 8-0, to sweep a doubleheader at Bogle Park over the weekend. And Reese Burline tossed a perfect game. We had a listener in Jonesboro who was really intrigued by that.
Adamant.
And also wanted to program the show and like thought we missed and he's right, missed an opportunity earlier in the day to like talk about that when we talked about Max Fried not having a no-hitter because of a mistake by the official scorer who had ruled initially an error, and then later, while he thinks he's throwing a no-hitter, the scoreboard behind him changes to he gave up a hit earlier in the game. That was kind of a unique situation. And while we were talking about that, our listener in Jonesboro said, "You guys missed a perfect segue opportunity."
It's a she, by the way.
Yeah.
She is texted back. It's a she.
Oh, well. It seems so masculine to say listener in Jonesboro.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, okay, well, what's your name? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
listener.
Like, yeah.
Listener.
Middle name
Amy
last
listener.
name Jonesboro.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But it's good that you.
Thanks for, hey.
It's good that you mentioned
I
that.
don't, honestly, like, regardless of your gender, thank you for listening.
You know, softball did the same thing baseball did. They played a doubleheader Friday. It was so weird not having a Razorback game to watch on Saturday or Sunday. It was like, almost a lost weekend from that perspective.
Yeah, so you had golf.
You did.
Watch Justin Thomas
had
win
the NBA playoff,
the RBC.
Yeah, cool. Justin Thomas won.
How much did he win?
I'm sure it was a couple million.
A lot.
Yeah. Also, Clay texted in. He gave us the wiki version of why it's Easter Monday.
Clay Siri AI.
Yeah, and I mean we could, we could probably read it, but I don't think it's really gonna.
Oh, go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it.
Okay.
Clay didn't send it for you to just enjoy. He sent it for all of us to enjoy.
$3.6 million.
Thank you, Tiger.
For winning at Harbortown.
Thank you, Tiger. Again, thank you, Tiger.
$6 million.
Thank you, Tiger.
JT. Wow.
They're going to play in
the week after
play
the
in New
Masters
Orleans.
at
Yeah, they're going to play in New
Harbortown.
Orleans this week at like the Zurich deal or whatever they call it. That'll be another $2 or $3 million of the winter.
That's wild.
Grief.
That is
hey,
wild.
good for JT.
Yeah, good for him. I was happy for him. In Western Christianity, it marks the second day of the octave of Easter. In Eastern Christianity, it marks the second day of Bright Week.
I was thinking.
As if that really clears it up for us. Like, I feel like we're going to need to do a little deeper dive on all of that if we're really going to tell you what Easter Monday is.
It's a day off for some people.
Right.
That's the deal.
Okay.
He literally, Clay, by the way, that text from Clay, I pulled up Easter Monday on Wikipedia. He literally just copy and pasted.
Yeah. No, it was a screenshot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
okay.
it was
I thought he actually.
No. No, Clay can screenshot.
And just so we can make the show sound even more pseudo-intellectual, the octave of Easter is an 8-day period. And I guess that, is this the final day of the octave, Bart? I didn't read that far into the into the explanation when I went into my phone.
Look, I just grew up. It was the day off of school.
You screw up, Catholic. Yeah. I mean, it's a day off school for crying out loud.
By the way, Matt and Baldwin said it's not thank you, Tiger. It's thank you, Live Tour, for these giant purses.
Let's not give Tiger any credit for anything.
It's
thank you, Tiger, Matt.
None of the Live stuff
would have even happened without
Tiger.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tiger made golf a big sport.
Some people aren't going to give Tiger credit for anything. They just will not give Tiger credit for anything.
TV rights and all that.
There's no Live Golf without Tiger. There's nothing in golf in terms of big money without Tiger.
He made it a big sport.
He did. And I mean, I don't know why people have such a problem giving him credit for that.
I don't either.
Well, actually, I know.
But he was without
get
sin
yourself together.
Come on.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Unbelievable. But very believable at the same time. All right, Arkansas football, basketball. So people have argued, and they've texted the show today that Arkansas is becoming a basketball school. Let me ask you this. What is becoming a whatever school? Like, what defines whether you're a football, basketball, baseball school, whatever? So I'll ask one question real quick. What's Vanderbilt?
A baseball school.
Okay, what defines
an academic institution?
What's hot? What you feel like you're known for nationally?
Bowling. Vandy's really good at bowling.
Yeah, they are good at bowling. They are.
Seriously, I'm not making that up.
So is that what it is? It's what what's Florida?
Florida's a football school.
Florida's a football school.
They've won the same amount of national championships in both basketball and actually they've won 3 more recently in basketball and 2 in football, back to back with Urban Meyer.
Is there any school in the SEC, and I include Kentucky in this, where you could draw 75,000 people for a basketball game? Any school?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I mean, just look at the NCAA tournament games where they play them in football buildings, and they're not going to fill it up.
Yeah.
Even a national championship game, they're trying to get, the size of a crowd in there that would be a small stadium for an SEC football game like a Vanderbilt. So what? That's part of my point. Is what makes a school's identity be a certain sport.
I think
when people say that.
I think
what do they mean?
Success. I think it's both historical and recent success. I think it's where the fans' passion is. I think it's attendance. There are football programs out there that it doesn't matter how the season is necessarily going. There are going to be butts in the seats. Same with basketball. It doesn't matter how things are going.
Kentucky has more people going to football games than they do basketball games. But they're going to be considered a basketball school.
Kentucky is a basketball school.
I think
they are. Kansas is a basketball school. They are.
Here's what.
Duke, Carolina, basketball school.
Again, you have to have football. But you can't support your athletic program with basketball. So I think people identify what a school is based on what they have the best chance to win a national championship in. But then you don't call Arkansas a baseball school, and you don't call Arkansas a track school. So at some point, how much it matters, the sport matters to people. How many people?
I think it's what you think of yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's how you view yourself. And we have always, again, fancied ourselves a football school. And look, when it was the Southwest Conference, back in the pre-Eddie Sutton, it was a football school. There were 2 sports, football and spring football. And that was it. And things changed. And over the years, and I think we should take pride in this, that this is a good, well-rounded program. But I do think the vast majority of Arkansans still fancy it a football school. That's just my opinion.
That's what people want to be good at.
That's right. Because, again, those of you who travel around the South, those of you who go to the Redneck Riviera in the summer, when people come up to you and say, how's Arkansas going to do this year? They're not asking about basketball or baseball. They're asking about football. That's your identifier in the SEC, whether you like it or not. It's just the truth. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take pride in being great at everything. But that is your identifier.
Hog Kong Suey in Russellville. 877-377-6963. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, I think this has to do with where the fan base, particularly the social media fan base, the message board fan base, that sort of thing, they're the ones who talk about this all the time. We're a basketball school now. I think it all has to do with the perceived level of administrative support. Right now, because, Johnny Tyson got involved and, helped to bring Cal here, and NIL's flowing pretty good for basketball, that sort of thing. And I think that because we didn't fire Sam the last 2 years, that we don't care about football, that sort of thing, is why the fan base is saying we're a basketball school now. It has nothing to do with where our actual, money, the real amount of money goes, or the winning and stuff is part of it, but it's a small part, or we'd be a baseball, pretty clear, or like you said, a track school. But I think that's all it's about. It's about perception that we care about basketball because we just brought in John Calipari.
That's got something to do with it, no doubt about it.
Call.
I mean, I don't know that is, that doesn't account for all the other years, but I do think right now there's no doubt. And look, what's the difference? Money, pure and simple, money. I'll say what I said a little bit earlier. There can be any transfer in college basketball. Any kid can enter the portal, no matter how good, no matter how highly rated a high school player is. Doesn't matter. We know that we're not going to be outmoneyed. It doesn't mean he won't go somewhere else, but we're not going to be outmoneyed. We get outmoneyed in football every day. Every day. And so there's a huge difference there. I mean, that's just the reality of the modern world.
What if it's no secret that Johnny Tyson would have loved to have Butch Davis be the head coach somewhere along the way with the Razorback football team? What if that had happened?
Well, we'll never know.
Well, think about it for a second. Now that you see what happened, or is happening.
Well, it was different then because you didn't go out and at least buy players where everybody knew about it.
Right.
You kept it secret.
Right. But like we were talking, earlier off air about just what does it take to really get football to whatever level that you want to get it. But I do think that resources are a part of it. Like everything else in college athletics right now. Lane is in Cave City. Lane, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hope y'all are doing okay and had a good Easter weekend.
Same to you.
I just wanted to kind of weigh in on this, what kind of school we are. I turned 30 on Sunday, and I think it's generational. So my dad is like y'all. He grew up in the 70s, 80s we was in the Southwest Conference, and the football team was going to Orange Bowls, Cotton Bowls, highly ranked. I mean, we was stout. And then my grandparents, they was in the 60s when we won our national championship. So the two generations ahead of me, I feel like, yes, those are football. They look at Arkansas football school. You get to my generation, what do we have? 2006, I was born in 1995. So 2006, probably one of my earliest memories of a great year. 2011, I mean, that's about all I can really think of that are just kind of blow your mind football years in my time span. Now you look at basketball, since Musselman came here, I've got a lot more memories of good times with basketball than I do with football. So I think that might weigh in on a little bit of this too.
I think it's a very, very good point. I think you made a very, very good point. Thank you, Lane. It is generational to a great extent, and what people my age forget is that people of a younger age, all the things that I think about when we start talking about I remember when, I got a lot of remember whens from the 70s and 80s and great memories. But our memories, Lane said the word memories, are great memories. A lot of those have not come from football, frankly, over the last 10, 20, 30, well, ever since we joined the SEC, because it's been a lot harder to compete football-wise in the SEC than the Southwest Conference. Nostalgia is a big part of our love of sports. My nostalgia for Razorback football goes back a lot further than Lane's does, to get days that people probably remember more fondly. So I do think there's a generational aspect of it, and I'm glad he brought that to the table.
There have been some football-marked moments throughout time that people who have been around a long time remember from, like, the Southwest Conference.
You're right.
Maybe not as many recently. And there's been some in the SEC. I mean, Houston Nutt went to 3 SEC championship games as a head coach here. For some people, that they don't remember that. They don't know anything about that. Hey, you can mark your moments at Blakeman's. They're all about the experience with their newly remodeled 8,500 square feet showroom. It's unbelievable. Diamond experts, they're where Arkansas gets engaged. They have their own diamond tear, a diamond expert. What's going to be in that purple bag like we gave Bart? Get your purple bag, make it a special occasion, and make someone smile. Maybe just by going to Blakeman's, but if you're going to get something, that purple bag is such a fun touch, as we found out with Bart, who, I know, did you have your watch back for Easter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you wore it with the seersucker?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, who's not? Did you get any? I mean, I know it's not maybe appropriate, but you probably walked out of Easter Sunday with a phone number, didn't you?
Well,
I mean, just looking as fly. Can we say looking as fly?
Can you look fly in church? Can you look fly in church?
I certainly did, Chuck.
Based on some of the pictures I saw, I wondered if that was the goal.
They've got private showrooms. They've got the cafe. It's an experience unlike any other at Blakeman's. Now, it's more than jewelry. It's your story. Blakeman's, the official jeweler of the Chuck and Bo Show and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's 8/18 on Easter Monday.
That's the actual question. What the hell's going on around here?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
If you're having issues with your gutters or drainage around the house, you need to call Hog Trough Gutters. They're locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching and French drains. Plus, they're fully licensed and insured, and every job comes with a 20-year guarantee. Hog Trough Gutters services all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Log on to their website, hoggutters.com, to find out more. That's hoggutters.com.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
You know, I want Texas to lose. Yeah, I want them to rot in hell.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I'm leaving for more money if I can find it. The portal's open on the show.
Okay.
I think the NPR station's on the phone.
Now their funding's been cut.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Well, here's the deal. I'm getting fact-checked by Clay, and I told Clay thanks for fact-checking me. And then he said, Bart's job's on the line because Bart's got to do better with fact-checking me. I said that Houston Nutt went to 3 SEC championship games. Yeah. He won the West 3 times, shared the title 1 year, and didn't go to Atlanta that year. So he's been at 2. Danny Ford went to 1. But regardless, as Chuck just pounds some equal into his coffee, shaking that bag and putting it in that coffee. He's ready to stir it with a pen now.
I am.
Stir it with a pen. There you go. That's disgusting. I don't know how you do that. What?
Done it for years. I'm healthy as a horse, guys. How many sick days have I taken? None.
Well, you know what's going to happen now?
What's that?
You're going to have a sick day.
I don't care if I'm on death's door. I'm not calling in sick.
You
man.
won't? You won't?
No, I don't call in sick.
That's
I don't.
That's good to know.
I've been stirring my coffee like this forever. I'm fine.
I know. It's actually it's part of your.
Fall out.
It's going to be part of the museum that Edward recreates for you, like you did that day you were gone traveling.
The shrine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't call it sick. You just went fishing.
Yeah, I did.
Chuck will just tell you I'm not going to be there. But people don't remember. They don't remember the success that has happened in football. Can you get back to some of those successful years that you had? And how will rev share and NIL change moving forward from the climate that we're in now? I wonder if the transfer portal will be as active. I wonder if the playing field levels out. I mean, Pittman spoke to this on Friday when he was on the show, was hoping there wouldn't be as big of a competitive disadvantage for certain schools who maybe didn't have the same amount of money as some other schools. Now you've got more equality there.
You've got to find a way. You've got to find a way to allow fan bases to have hope. Otherwise, you're going to get into a situation like you get into in professional sports. The NFL does a better job of this than anybody else. Major League Baseball does the worst job of this, of all the professional leagues, about having some sense of parity. Fan bases having hope when the season begins. My hope is that the revenue share will even things out to an extent. I'm not naive. They've never invented a system where the rich don't get richer. I mean, find it for me. And I think the rich are going to continue to get richer. But I hope that there is a situation where, at least on occasion, you don't have the same 6 teams. What is it? The same 6 teams have won the SEC since 1977?
That's right. 3 in the East, 3 in the West.
That's not, we're not the only ones, is what I'm saying. We talk about how we don't have any success in football. There's 16 teams now in our league. And I'll exclude Texas and Oklahoma and make it 14 just for the sake of conversation. 6 teams, only 6 have won the SEC since 1977. It's a long time ago, almost 50 years now. So that tells you how difficult it is to crack that glass ceiling. And the idea that you just show up and, if we'll just get a different coach or recruit a couple of different players, we'll be the ones up there at the top. Well, you'll be doing something nobody's done in 50 years. So, that's easier said than done.
Yeah, even Petrino's stretch of going 21-5 in 2 years didn't take them to an SEC.
They finished second in the West and third in the West in the 2 best years. And those were great
10
years.
and 11 win
I had
seasons.
the time of my life, following that team, and our fans did too. That was a second and third place team in our division. So that tells you how hard it is.
Yeah. Because you've got to beat, the very best in the country to get there. And in the
You've got to beat, in many cases, you've got to beat a team that may very well win the national championship. Right. Look at all our years when it was the West.
Not just a top 10 team, that team.
That's right. If you were going to win the West, it means you were going to have to win. You're going to have to beat Alabama.
And you're going to have to beat multiple teams who have a shot to do that.
And I'm not saying it. And any time you say, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, people say, well, you're making excuses. Well, there's been a lot of excuses made by 8-10 schools over the last 50 years. Because in this league, it's just, the numbers show. it's virtually impossible to do consistently. I do hope revenue share gives the opportunity for some to do it maybe more often than has been done. But I'm not naive.
So how do you get like excited about football in that scenario as you're describing there? I think it's having expectations that make sense. But if you talk about that, then it's like, well, you're never going to achieve if you set your bar too low.
You want to win as many games as you can every year. Every Saturday when you take the field, you want and expect to win. Doesn't mean you're going to do that all the time. But that should be your expectation, is we're going to go win the game Saturday.
Have a chance to win every game you play.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Have that hope.
That's right.
Like when you hired Petrino, regardless of how anybody felt about it or whatever, like ultimately the marketing there, the idea of hope came. It did. And when you get Taylor Green back for a second year, we'll see how it all plays out with Petrino. There's some hope there. There's something to be excited about. You need more and more of that. I'm not, those are just examples, but like, how do you give people hope going into games? And I mean, for the most part, help me remember here, have they competed in games under Pittman?
The vast majority of the time, yes.
Yeah. So like, how do you just kind of get that next step, finish games off? Because you've been in a lot of games. You know, it's rare that you're getting embarrassed or blown out or not showing up. 877-377-6963. Got on the topic because people are saying, basketball is the conversation right now. Arkansas is becoming a basketball school. I don't think that's true. I think Arkansas has a better chance to win a national championship in basketball right now. But that's true of like a lot of schools, as Chuck was describing.
We've got early returns. Edward, what's the story right here? We've had votes on Twitter. Is that the deal?
Just a Twitter poll.
Is this a sampling?
The topic we're discussing.
How many votes?
100 votes in. 88% of the people say that we're a basketball school.
That's what people are identifying with.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
That's the Twitter.
Yeah,
crowd.
but like again, I want to know what that means to them.
Does that mean we're having more success now, or
you have a chance to be better in that sport relative to the other teams?
And Twitter probably trends to be, more of Edward's generation than my generation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some truth to that too. I mean, how people
now
arrive
you do a
at this
Facebook
conclusion.
poll. That's a whole different deal right there.
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah,
let's try that.
Let's do a Facebook poll.
Let's do it. Yeah, do that. Hey, if you're having issues with your gutters or drainage around your home, all the storming. And I'm not talking about damage, but maybe you had some damage and you're going to need that repaired, or maybe just the weather has shown you, I've got a problem, I've got to get it cleaned up there. Hog Trough Gutters, locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience, can help. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching, French drains, fully licensed and insured, and every job comes with a 20-year warranty. They service all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. They'll help you even if they're out of the area or you're out of their area. You can go on their website, find the number, text in your issue, a picture of it, a video, and they'll get back to you with some advice or thoughts and feedback on what you're dealing with and let you know if they can help. Hoggutters.com is the website. HOGGUTTERS. Hoggutters.com. Hog Trough Gutters, helping you out with your drainage issues. It's 8:32. Good morning.
Bo, you said something interesting. I don't think you meant to, but when you talked about Phil's...
The Chuck and Bo Show.
We care a lot about supporting Arkansas businesses here on the Chuck and Bo Show, and we both like keeping our rides looking good. Splash Car Wash just became our new neighbors here in Fayetteville. They're a locally owned Arkansas business, and they've been serving the state since 1989. They're good folks, and you can get a free car wash by texting Splash Arkansas to 22322. That's Splash Arkansas to 22322.
There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. And every Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. 15% off every bottle of wine in the store, even if it's already on sale. But when it comes to selection, amazing prices, and unbeatable customer service, Macadoodles and Guess Who in Bentonville is second to none. Wine, beer, and spirits. Stock up for your next party or just stop by and grab your favorite. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
There's nothing we enjoy saying more than I told you so.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
When Chuck and I started the show, he said we want to deal with smart people, smarter than us. It's going to take a while for them to show up because they've been dumbed down, but they'll show up.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Well, if you didn't know already, you know now. Spring is here, and that means it's time to get your AC ready for the warmer months. Why pay for a tune-up when you can get one for free? When you switch your maintenance plan to Paschal, you'll get a free spring AC tune-up, plus exclusive benefits like discounts on repairs, priority scheduling, whole home savings on plumbing and electrical services. So don't wait. Switch and save with Paschal. Sign up today at gopaschal.com. That's gopaschal.com. Is that good enough?
It's fine.
Is that good enough? Can I read another ad at some point?
Yeah. How about telling us about just all of our partners on the Chuck and Bo Show? So Chuck, rightfully so, going to break when I ripped off another ad.
Oh, come on!
I said am I going to ever get to do any of
No,
these
it
again?
wasn't like that.
And did I do something wrong? We talk about everything here on the show. I don't know why we're going to stop at this.
That's fair.
So Chuck and I are both former radio hosts now working together. And it's amazing how we get sidetracked. We could say we're going to do this coming back from break, and anything but that will happen, all the time. And what ends up happening is we're going to break, and we need to, you've got to kind of spread them out, and you got to, hit things here and there. And because Chuck will be, waxing eloquent with just some intellectual thought that, only he can deliver, I just kind of pick up the pieces, and I'm like, well, we got to do a live read here, and I'll just do it going to break. And I'll, kind of figure out what needs to be done. Bart's supposed to be telling us, hey,
Bart's
do
fault.
this one now. And then occasionally he does and occasionally doesn't. Or he'll hold up a sign and neither one of us ever see it.
That's the bad part. Is
Meanwhile-
neither one of us see it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the phone's ringing over Edward's shoulder. He doesn't see that. And listen, I don't know, I don't know how many people it could take to make this show, work. But I mean, we've got 4 in here, and we're just scraping by.
Yeah,
we really are.
Yeah,
and so Chuck from now on is going to be held to a 50%.
I was not
quota.
complaining. I was not complaining.
But I, the truth is, our partners, they want you to deliver
No,
the message.
no,
too.
that's
It
not
is
what I
true.
was saying
It is
at
true.
all.
I get complaints. Good gosh, Bo, do you always have to do it? I mean, Chuck's he's the guy.
No, that's not what I was saying at all.
He's the Hall of Famer.
That's not what I was saying, and you know that.
I do, but
I
I'm
was
just
merely
telling you.
asking. What the hell?
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I love it. It's true. Do you have pictures, by the way, Bart? Because people have asked on the text machine here about your Easter outfit. Did you have pictures?
I have a picture of me with my nieces and nephew. Yeah.
There's a picture of Bart pulling his jacket
Have you
up
posted
so
it?
we can see the watch.
Yeah. Do you have it? Did your watch displayed?
Is it displayed in this picture? Let's see.
I just want to see the photo. Did you post it on the gram?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
That's why I didn't see
You know,
it.
Bart has multiple.
Oh no, I posted it to Facebook too, Chuck.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, are you
Well, I
guys
didn't
friends
see
on
it.
Facebook? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I don't know
I'm gonna
either.
Be totally
Oh,
honest.
you guys are close. Wow.
Well,
I don't even know if you're friends on Facebook.
well, we have all that Chuck and Bo Show stuff on
There's
there.
a photo.
Oh, that's a great picture, Bart. That's
wow.
wonderful.
That's lovely. That is wow. Looks like a happy family.
Yeah.
Uncle Bart.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having Bart as an Uncle Chuck? Back in your younger years?
Is there to
Bart as your uncle?
Oh yeah.
Can you
I mean,
imagine?
Did you take them all presents, Easter
How
presents?
fortunate.
No.
Did you dye
we don't
eggs
really
with
do.
them? Did you dye eggs with the kids?
We didn't actually dye eggs this year because
expensive?
well, not yeah. No, just the weather. We just used plastic eggs this year.
I got you.
For Easter egg hunt and stuff.
If you haven't seen, we're a basketball school. According to those voting on the poll on Twitter, Chuck has argued that we need to put it on Facebook to get a true
That's right.
age evaluation.
I put it on Facebook.
The Southwest Conference
age
people are on
demographics.
Facebook.
Yeah.
The
Different
SEC
demographics.
people are on Twitter.
And again, I think, there needs to.
That's a really good way to put it.
Well, it's just,
You have to qualify what it means to be a basketball or football school, though, to me. Like, when you just throw it out there, I don't know what your filter is, your criteria. I don't know what your criteria is to make that decision. Because people will care more about football than basketball in this fan base. They do, and they will, and I don't think it's going to change.
Well, you better care about it because that's what pays for everything.
But do you have a better chance to win a national championship in basketball?
Well, I just think by the nature of the sports, yes. Not because it's Arkansas. But I think, you could probably run down the list of SEC schools. You might find 2 or 3 that you say they got a better shot in football than basketball, but for most it's going to be basketball.
There are like 10 teams max that can win a national championship in football.
Yeah.
Like 10 programs.
It's going to become more that way in basketball.
Clay Henry weighs in again.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I have polled customers at the fly shop. It's dead even, 1-1. And that's.
We just need Clay
timely.
to call in.
Let his dog Millie break the tie. Let the dog break the tie.
Timely, relevant information right there.
That's how many votes
1-1.
we have on Facebook so far is 2.
2? How's it going?
100% basketball.
Okay, 2-0 basketball on Facebook.
Do people even know what they're saying? That's what I'm saying. Like the criteria.
Well, basically what it is right now is who's better. What gives you more hope? Well, right now it's probably basketball.
Yeah.
If you look historically at this university, this program, unquestionably it's been a football school more than it's been a basketball school. Now, how you feel today, again, generally has to do with how much hope you have for a particular program.
Well, when I saw them play on Saturday, I thought they're going to be better than people think.
But here's the thing.
Hold on.
No, all right, go ahead.
There was no spring game.
Yeah.
I
got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
It flew over my head for a minute.
I was gonna be the only one that saw it.
Yeah.
In my mind, what I saw on Saturday, in the exclusive viewing window that I got, they had a spring game personally for me, Chuck.
You had it played out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just my own personal. I was the only one there.
What's your takeaway?
I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gave me some hope for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And I got an autograph.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the one that got the autograph football?
Yeah, if you missed it earlier, we had some people complaining about not getting autographs on Saturday and the messaging of the spring game, which is a very small group of people.
My sense is we're probably talking about a pretty small group.
Yeah. But we don't know. We really don't know what to expect in football, really. But there are some things to point to that you can, be excited about, like Talon coming back for a second year.
It would have been nice to have had a beautiful weekend weather-wise, which is what we were really all counting on. We were counting on a great weekend. We were going to come watch a little baseball. Then we were going to watch some football, then go back to baseball. And softball is going to be playing. There's going to be a lot to do. And then the weather screwed everything up. And it's frustrating when that happens.
Yeah. But it is. And it was but I don't think the vast majority of people are walking around today upset they didn't have a spring game. I think people move on pretty quickly.
Well, I think so too.
With their busy life.
I think so too.
And when you had that storm on Saturday morning, you weren't thinking like, oh, there's a game today. But it did get. I thought the same thing about baseball. They would have loved to have not played a doubleheader on Friday and been able to play Saturday afternoon. But you got to make calls based on forecasts.
That's right.
Sometimes ahead of time. You can't just wait for it all to play out. Anyhow, 877-377-6963. Eric's telling me it's your question. So set the criteria and then get the answer. Well, it's not my question.
I think it's a different criteria for every person. I think it's different. I think there's different criteria. And I think when the caller brought up generation a little bit earlier, if you're 30 years old, you don't have those great football memories the way I do at 62. It's just different. So we look at it different. I don't think there is one set of criteria.
It's 8:47. Good morning. I think you should look at yourself today in the mirror and say, what's wrong with me?
Okay, I will.
I'm not talking about you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got the experience and they've got your back.
So don't go it alone. Make the right call. Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The doors are open, and it's a new era of elegance. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry has unveiled its stunningly redesigned 8,500 square foot showroom for an unmatched luxury experience. There's breathtaking jewelry, of course, expert service, and private viewing rooms designed for comfort. And they've got an in-house cafe with handcrafted coffee to go along with a special coffee table book celebrating Arkansas's heritage. Because it's more than jewelry. It's your story at Blakeman's Fine Jewelry.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
At the Stonebreaker Hotel, we believe in the art of gathering, whether over a thoughtfully prepared meal or a quiet moment on Markham Hill. Start your day with breakfast classics from the all-day menu, served from 7:30 to 1. Savor shareable bites from the bar and lounge menu until 10. And let the dinner menu from 5 to 9 bring familiar flavors with a fresh twist. And for a weekend well spent, how about brunch? Rooted in connection, designed for comfort. Learn more at StonebreakerHotel.com. Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweatnum Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com and click on the Sweatnum Edge. You want to talk about washed? You're being brainwashed by idiots. You're following idiots.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
We keep threatening to show behind the scenes live on the stream. It's going to happen someday. We're all going to get fired for it. There's just like total chaos.
It's mayhem around here. It really is.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you go and
yours.
I'll go.
No, it's yours.
If
I'm
you're
not doing
dealing
it.
with personal injury,
struggling to get Social Security disability,
or drowning in debt,
call the team that fights for Arkansans.
Bill Reynolds and the attorneys at Cadell Reynolds know how to get you results when it matters most.
From car wrecks to denied disability claims to filing for bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Don't face it alone. Call Cadell Reynolds at 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com for a free consultation.
Cadell Reynolds.
Make the right call.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, that was on the fly, too. That was on the fly. Yeah, that was on the fly.
Every once in a while, the professionalism comes out.
That's right.
The professionalism.
That's right.
The what?
The professionalism comes out. I'm Harry Carey. And it's the seventh inning. It's time for Take Me Out to the ball game.
And I'm 5 beers deep.
I'm 5 beers. Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa. I grew up in the Dominican where the sun shines 365 days a year. How could you lose a ball in the sun?
How much are we paying that guy? That was always my favorite, Eric. How much are we paying that guy when he pop it up?
Hey, when I was a kid in the business, 1997, I think it was, Florida Marlins game. Somebody that was in the media there got Harry Carey to record their voicemail.
Really?
For their at-home phone.
That's awesome.
Like they recorded it and somehow got it in that little tape. So when you called their house and they didn't answer, this is Harry Carey.
Hey.
You've reached John. He's not here right now. Well, I'm going to get Chuck to do that for me.
Must have been
It's Chuck Barrett, voice of the Razorbacks.
Must have been pre-cameo, because Harry would have been charging for that in the cameo era, kind of like you do.
Clay said immediate review of our ad was terrible.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
you'll be getting
I've heard Clay do an ad or
You'll
two.
be getting served some papers from Cadell Reynolds
That's
later today,
right.
Clay.
That's
Right there in
right.
the fly shop.
Clay
You know where to
loved
find
it.
you.
He loved it.
By the way, if Clay's going to text the show so much, can we just have him on? Clay Henry coming up later this week. Hey, have a great Easter Monday. It's almost 9 o'clock. Good morning.
Hey, you can beat inflation and upgrade your ride.
I'm
at
Dr. Scotty
Chevy of
Boulding,
Fayetteville.
a native
Right now,
Arkansan
drive home a
oral and
brand new
maxillofacial
Chevy
surgeon. One of my
Silverado,
goals is to
Blazer,
make
Equinox
Arkansans
EV, or
healthier.
the
If
top
you have sleep
2500
disorder
with
breathing,
rates as
it's
low as
important to treat it
1.9%
properly. The standard
APR.
treatment's a
Plus,
breathing
take
machine called
advantage of
CPAP.
huge
It helps you
discounts and
breathe
get
during the
top
night.
dollar
However,
for your
there are
trade-in.
other
Go
options
see
thanks to
Chris
some
Mark
truly
in
innovative
Denver,
and
Chevy of
proven
Fayetteville,
technologies.
where the
Sleep
deals
is
are big
probably-
and the road ahead is even better. Chevy of Fayetteville. Let's drive.
I'm Dr. Scotty Boulding, a native Arkansan oral and maxillofacial surgeon. One of my goals is to make Arkansans healthier.
If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly. The standard treatment's a breathing machine called CPAP. It helps you breathe during the night. However, there are other options thanks to